Alright homies, what's up everybody? This is for the posterity of the this like YouTube video, right? That may be like out, I don't know a tentative date, but probably should be like sometime soon. We're gonna be doing like a real talk, and we haven't done like a real talk in quite some time, homies. The last like real talk let me just see. And the last real talk was my thoughts on Guilty Gear Strive. What we are going to be talking about, talking about, is the importance, or well, not the importance. It will be significant. Cue like what was it? Kung Pao entered the tongue, entered the fist clip.
It will be significant.
That shit's gonna get me copyright, I don't care, right? But what we're gonna be talking about today is this, right? The season 2 announcement for, I'm covering my there. I'm sorry. It's just how it is. It is what it is. But season 2 of Street Fighter 6, right? This got fans blowing up like the storm. I saw like Max Dude's reaction of like he was like super flipping out on just SNK reps being in a Street Fighter game, and a lot of many other FGC content creators like myself, right? You can go check out my reaction, and it's pretty freaking awesome with just like the homies and all that jazz.
Oh, it's Street Fighter.
Street Fighter. What the fuck? Ain't no way, dog. Wait, Frank. Ain't no way.
Oh, wait, hell yeah.
Ain't no way, dog.
Hell yeah.
Oh my god.
Fuck yeah. Fuck yeah.
Hey, come on.
Oh, that's awesome.
Bro, Terry's gonna be in Street Fighter 6? Here's the thing of like why it's so important, and we're gonna try to like condense it down to hopefully like 20 minutes or so, right? In the timing of like this video. The reason why season 2 is so important, right? Outside of M Bison, outside of Elena, right? We got like 2 guest characters for a Capcom Street Fighter game, right? And that's Terry and Mai. So let's start off with like, you know, the Capcom side of it, right? Capcom has dabbled with guest characters though, right? As the first foremost thing, right? They have guest characters in like their own franchises. The most infamous of one of them being Marvel vs. Capcom, right? MVC is the guest versus fighting game by Capcom that had a wide bevy of not just Marvel characters, Spider-Man, Iron Man, all that shit, but also Capcom characters, and not just Street Fighter characters, right? You have more than one Capcom IP in Capcom versus games like Marvel vs. Capcom. So Capcom has dabbled with Capcom versus games before, right? This is nothing new, but to be more narrowing the specifics, right? Street Fighter, right? Street Fighter, although has had some crossover guests in their mainline series, right? The first origin of guest characters being, I think, like the Alpha games, where they added Final Fight characters, right? Like Cody, Guy, Hagar, Poison. Those are all Final Fight characters. And Final Fight got more egregious in later Street Fighter games, especially with Street Fighter 5. Technically Zeku is also like a guy like clone, but he's a guy clone, but he really is, in lore-wise, the first Strider, which is like, you know, Strider Hiryu from Marvel vs. Capcom 1, right? The infamous ninja with Ouroboros and Ragnarok level 3 super, right? So 5 had like Zeku, and of course Street Fighter has Final Fight characters, and in 5, a very popular guest character from a long like dead IP from Capcom, and that is Rival Schools. Rival Schools got finally representation in a Street Fighter game, right? Which is like 5, and it was the most popular character, the most fan favorite character, not Batsu. No. Batsu, well, I wish it was like Batsu, but then that would have been like played safe. No, rather it was Akira, the little sister, the little girl who is the brother, or I forget like the terminology, but yeah, like the little girl like fighter that is related to one of the school leaders in Rival Schools like lore. And which is funny, I watched like a whole retrospective courtesy of Dorji Arcade. I'm sorry if I'm like butchering like his name somewhere, you know, but yeah, I watched like Dorji Arcade's like retrospective of Rival Schools, and it was hella like insightful that, yo, this game was like a 3D like Capcom fighting game, and Rival Schools did have their own like guest character, and that was Sakura from Street Fighter, which was, you know, kept under the lid by Capcom for so many years until the inclusion of Akira in Street Fighter 5. And it's now like confirmed that both Street Fighter and Rival Schools share like the same like universe. Street Fighter did have their fair share of guest characters, right? But only like relegating to Final Fight, and they just kept to just Street Fighter themselves, right? Street Fighter has just been just the Street Fighter universe, and they don't essentially like cross over with any other like series. But here we have like season 2, and we have Mai, and we have Terry, and we have Mai, 2 poster children characters that really like sell SNK, right? And this is like, you know, they're probably doing this like in promotion to Fatal Fury, right? Because, you know, Fatal Fury is going to be like coming out. But here's the thing, right? This is not Fatal Fury promotion. Rather, when you look at closer inspection of Terry and Mai, if it were Fatal Fury, Terry would have like his bomber leather jacket and no Fatal Fury hat. We would have had Fatal Fury Terry rather than OG Terry. This is more like, you know, OG Fatal Fury 1 or Fatal Fury 2 Terry. And of course, Mai is, you know, Mai, right? This is like, she doesn't go under any like drastic like change-ups. There's only like one Mai in this world, and that's like her. The importance of this is that it's not just like a Capcom thing where, you know, like this is the first time that Street Fighter has ever had a guest character, and it's from another studio, not within Capcom. Hell, not even within Capcom, right? Hell, not even within Capcom, but rather SNK. One of the reasons for this inclusion was, you know, the coolest and chillest of dudes in Capcom right now for Street Fighter, Nakayama and Matsumoto-san, who are the new like heads and producers for Street Fighter after Yoshinori Ono's retirement. They pretty much said in like in an interview, right? The inclusion for them was that they loved Fatal Fury, they loved Real Bout Special 2, and that's why Terry and Mai are in this like game. Yeah, on the Capcom side, it's very important. It's very significant because this is like the first time that Capcom has ever done like a crossover with another franchise for their mainline games at all, right? Second, on the other side is, you know, SNK, right? SNK has been obviously like branching out and implementing their characters into other fighting games, right? Bandai Namco, there's also Akira with Fighting EX Layer. They also did... What else did they do? Oh yeah, there's also Smash, that's right. Terry is also into Smash Brothers, right? SNK has been inserting their own characters into other different fighting games, and they've been making hella comebacks, right? Especially as of this recent releases like Samurai Showdown and King of Fighters 15 and the highly anticipated Fatal Fury City of the Wolves, right? So SNK is like stronger, they're making like a comeback, right? They're definitely like making enough, well, not like enough money, but now a lot of people know. Oh, so yeah, like SNK has been building themselves up from, you know, like, of course, SNK, when we talk about SNK, we also got to talk about like the hurdles and the challenges that they had to like overcome to make them what they are, like, you know, now, right? They're doing better than like they're before, but they definitely had like some troubles with, you know, bankruptcy and just malicious intent from other like partnered studios that wanted to make SNK franchises into gambling machines in Japan, pachinko machines. So I'll probably save why I love SNK as like a Khaiza dojo with my boy E-Skater. This further also, well, that's like the SNK side. So we covered Capcom and SNK. So, right? This is also significant because it teases Capcom versus SNK. Right? That is a crossover series outside of Marvel vs. Capcom that a lot of fighting game fans are like looking forward to potentially like being made, right? Capcom versus SNK definitely had like their hands in the fucking waters a little bit with CVS 1. There was also SVC Chaos, which was, you know, SNK housed. And then there was CVS 2. Yeah, there was SNK Millennium Fight. But yeah, this was like a awesome fucking crossover title with Capcom and SNK characters, right? So yes, both companies have dipped their toes, dipped their feet, dipped their hands into the water of a crossover franchise between two beloved like titles. However, like the only problems with like CVS 1, the stages are really cool, but the roster was really fucking safe. For Capcom side, nothing but Street Fighter characters outside of Morgan. As for SNK, yeah, pretty much like a flavorful cast, right? All like KOF characters, Art of Fighting, and Fatal Fury characters, right? For the most part. Then we have SNK versus Capcom Chaos. So SNK not only did the gameplay, but also the art style. So we see a clear-cut difference with like, you know, the characters that was like Capcom housed, right? That was Capcom housed. Oh, sorry, that's CVS Store. Versus the one that SNK had. So you can definitely see the level of like roster quality with SNK, right? There are Street Fighter characters in here, but we got Dimitri from Darkstalkers. We got Red Armorer from, I think, like what? Ghosts and Goblins? Zero from Mega Man Zero, the Chibi Zero, not Green Tiz McGee Zero. Tessa from Red Earth. I think that's like Shinakuma? Yeah, Shinakuma. And on the SNK side, we got like, fuck, there's like Samurai Showdown stuff. There's also even, I don't know who the fuck this bitch is, right? I don't know who the fuck this this girl is. But yeah, it was like a flavorful roster. And then like Capcom versus SNK 2, fan beloved Capcom versus SNK title there is, right? Because, you know, it's offered different ways of play. The roster is really like amazing and full, like fuller than the other two games were. And you had like different play styles for CVS. You have like N groove, S groove, A groove, right? Different play styles to pick your character, and it played like classic KOF style, team-based structure. Your point, mid, and your anchor had great beloved like characters, had awesome music and everything. The roster is a little bit better though, right? In terms of like Capcom and SNK characters, mostly Capcom-esque, with a few like things like with a few characters that were like added, like Morgan Einsland, of course, gotta be in there. Eagle, I think from like Street Fighter 1, he's like the dude with like the baton, tonfas. Kyosuke Kagami from Rival Schools. Then you get Maki, I think from like Final Fight or something like that. Robert. There's also Shinakuma, but in the SNK side, we got a plenty of fucking characters, right? Haomaru from Samurai Showdown, Hibiki Takane from SNK's other samurai-esque game, The Last Blade. Rock Howard from Gauro. Who else was also there? Ultimate Rugal, right? So yeah, Capcom versus SNK was a hit like classic, you know? Definitely like scored a little bit lower. I don't know how that shit happened, but it's cherished and beloved enough in the fighting game community that fans have been wishing for a Capcom versus SNK 3. The unfortunate part about Capcom versus SNK 3, Capcom versus SNK after 2 was that, you know, at the time SNK was going through bankruptcy, and Capcom was still doing games that were delivering to like a Western audience at the time. This was like 2002, so they were just like reusing sprites, they were just reusing characters, and they were playing it safe with Street Fighter characters, because that's like the only like fighting game franchise in Capcom's perspective that would really like sell them pockets, you know? That would really sell them pockets. However, it ultimately didn't do that great through like casual like opinion, and so the chances of a Capcom versus SNK technically like stopped, right? So never more will we see like Capcom versus SNK again until SNK came back with, you know, King of Fighters 14 with the Verse Saga, and Samurai Showdown, King of Fighters 15, and Fatal Fury. So a lot of like SNK is like, you know, coming back, right? They're also going to be coming back with Fatal Fury, and there were reports that later surfaced via interviews from fighting game FGC content creators that Season 3 is still in the works. Season 3 is still in the works, as commentated by Oda at a Summer Games Fest outing, right? But he tells fans just to like look forward to them, you know? So, with the inclusion of like Terry and Mai being added into Street Fighter 6, it definitely, you know, gives some possible like hopes and inspiration to a lot of people that are wishing for Capcom versus SNK 3, me especially, right? So there's a bright future in the horizon for both Capcom and SNK to come back with a with their crossover fighting game. It's not gonna be soon, I can guarantee that. But there is like a bright future ahead because of, you know, hardcore dedicated people that love their series to death are still running the show for both Capcom and SNK. And this is just like the first like start of a Street Fighter mainline title having the potentiality of getting guest characters. Now it's going to be along in the if we look into the future that like ahead, we could be seeing like a Tekken situation where Tekken 7 gained a lot of notoriety and popularity because of the guest characters that Harada kept adding because he loved like the characters, right? He added Geese Howard, he added Negan from The Walking Dead, he added Noctis Lucis Kylum, right? He technically added Morgan Einsland, but just under a different name, Eliza, you know? So the future is like definitely like bright for, you know, a Capcom versus SNK, a new title, Capcom versus SNK 3, right? And these are just like the first like sprinkles of it, which is like good. Fighting games have never been better than before. Street Fighter 6 is like doing phenomenally well with the inclusion of like Akuma, and a new season 2 is like on the way. And with SNK, with once again like Fatal Fury and the potentiality for a King of Fighters season 3, right? The game is not dead yet, right? Which is, you know, surprising to say the least. Once I saw that tweet, I'm like, holy hell, they're going really making season 3. I thought it would be dead. But yeah, like that's like the significance of it, you know? Why is it like so important for Street Fighter 6, a Street Fighter title, to have, you know, guest characters, right? And of course, like on the topic of like guest characters, right? There are some people that like them, some people that don't, right? The people that don't like, you know, guest characters are probably just most probably the franchise purists, that they don't want to be tainted by other franchises, that they may believe that it doesn't like stand on like 2 legs. I'm like, bro, let me tell you, once I said, you know, Tekken 7, that game pushed a lot of numbers for not just Tekken fans, but also casual fans who are new to Tekken as well because of guest characters. Guest characters sell a fighting game. It generates numbers for people that are not down for said fighting game, but because a character is in it from a franchise that may not be associated with it, you may give it a shot because of that said character, right? Smash Brothers is the hugest guest character game next to Mortal Kombat, because you get to have this fucking phrase alone: Sephiroth versus Minecraft Steve in a Pokemon Stadium, right? Like, you can't fucking beat that. Can't fucking beat that, you know? Yes, characters have that oozing like aura, that channeling manifestation to bring people into a fighting game, because it's that, not like shock value, like, oh, like not like Mortal Kombat, like fatalities or something like that, but like that guttural reaction that like, oh, this character's in that fighting game, perhaps I shall try it out, sort of thing, you know? So yeah, like guest characters are important. They're not like vital, but they're cool like surprises. So yeah, right? This is like the significance and the importance of like SNK characters in Street Fighter, right? For both Capcom, for both SNK, the future is bright for them, and they're definitely making strides in the fighting game like genre, and I can't wait to see them like potentially, you know, shake hands, kiss and make out, and we could potentially get Capcom versus SNK 3 more plausible than Marvel versus Capcom 4. Ain't no shot that game's gonna be coming back. Much as I'm a Marvel versus Capcom fan, but you know, it ain't coming back at all.